I made a promise that if this video got enough views or likes, I'd make a video about Magician's Red Requiem. I thought maybe it'd be better if I made a video about what if every Crusader had a Requiem stand instead. So I'm gonna do that instead. And you can't say it's lying, because I'm still doing Magician's Red Requiem. Now to get the obvious one out of the way, Polnareff already has Chariot Requiem. Instead of looking like a knight, it looks more like a musketeer, but it's made out of a black, molten plastic substance. And it puts a bunch of people to sleep, and when they wake up, their bodies are swapped with someone else's. That's really unique compared to just being fast, having armor, and having a sword. But I am gonna give all of these different stands their own special abilities. I'm gonna save Star Platinum for later, since that's probably what everyone wants to see the most. It's never fully confirmed, but it is theorized that Requiem stands are based on what the user needs at that time. I'm going to try and use this theory to make up the powers of the following stands. Let's say hypothetically, Magician's Red obtained Requiem right before Avdol died. He pierces Magician's Red with the arrow, and then he gets eaten by Cream. The fight between Iggy, Polnareff, and Vanilla Ice plays out as normal, but when all hope seems lost, Avdol returns. Avdol needed to be there for his friends, to stop Vanilla Ice, to stop Dio, and so, just like a phoenix, he rises from the ashes. And who knows, maybe because Requiem stands are just that powerful, he's able to revive Iggy as well. And later on, maybe he's able to revive Cockywing. Sure, you can say this idea is not that original, but honestly, I feel like it just works, and I just think it's a cool evolution of Magician's Red. But now let's talk about what many people consider to be the best character in Part 3. What did Cockywing need right before he died? He needed to find out what Dio's stand was and tell the rest of the Crusaders. My idea is that, let's say he pierces Hierophant Green, it's able to shoot a single emerald. If this emerald touches the enemy, it steals their stand and it stuns them, similar to White Snake used by Poochie. It then shoots out a tentacle retrieving the emerald. And then he steals that stand, and he's able to use it alongside Hierophant Green Requiem. And unlike White Snake, there's no limit or compatibility issues, and he is completely immune to all attacks from the stand user he is currently targeting. So for example, Dio can still try and move out of the way, but the world's time stop will not work. Plus, of course, Cockywing can do his giant, web that he did in Part 3, of course on a greater scale and with more defenses and attack power. And by him stealing the stand, not only does he have its powers, but he also knows everything about it. So he's not just stealing the stand, but he's also stealing its information and how to use it. And he is also made aware if the stand has any extra hidden abilities. For example, if he were to steal Star Platinum, he would instantly know that it's able to get Time Stop, and he would instantly know how to use Time Stop. And maybe if he steals a stand, he can't turn it into a Requiem stand, or he can turn all of them into Requiem stands, and he can just be the most overpowered character in the entire series. Besides, Giorno's Gold Experience Requiem is infinitely more powerful than Chariot Requiem. Look at me, I'm gonna put you to sleep, and then your body will be changed with someone else's, versus, no matter what you do, you'll never reach fate. I'm gonna deny fate, and you'll never be able to touch me. All of your actions will literally be for nothing because they won't even really happen. Also, you're gonna die forever. Alright, now let's get to what most people would consider their favorite JoJo. Okay, I genuinely had a lot of trouble coming up with what Joseph's would be for Hermit Purple Requiem. And honestly, this is probably the one I'm the least proud of because I really just couldn't think of anything. With a lot of the other stands, I didn't really focus on how they would look, more on their abilities, but I don't even know what to do for this one. Gold Experience looks like it's on meth, Chariot Requiem looks like it's made out of molten plastic, but it's still an evolution of the Knight idea. I thought Hermit Purple should look the same, but now it can form armor for Joseph to wear during battle. What did Joseph need? He needed to be 1, protected from Dio, and 2, he needed to tell Jotaro what his stand was. And so Hermit Purple Requiem's special ability would be the Curse of Knowledge. Hermit Purple would wrap around whoever he's targeting, and it would form a little thorn crown above their head, just like Jesus Christ. And so the thorns would go into their head, and Joseph can give them whatever knowledge they need. So he can tell Jotaro exactly how the world works, and I don't know, maybe right before this, he shoots some of Hermit Purple at Dio, putting the crown on him and stealing the information from him. And then since they're the same type of stand and Jotaro now has that knowledge, maybe he unlocks Time Stop for Star Platinum earlier. Also, in case Dio tries to attack him, he can just put up Thorn armor. And, I don't know, maybe like his Hamon is multiplied by 100? Hell, if we want to make him overpowered, multiply it by infinity so he just one-shots Dio. And maybe in this version, and maybe in this what if story, he like crucifies Dio and he puts he puts the crown on his head, and it's like symbolism with the Bible. Peak cinema. That, and also I was thinking he could wrap it around Dio's head and overload his brain with all the knowledge in the universe. And maybe he can even overload it with the knowledge from every universe. So he can see how he dies in every single universe. Similar to Diavolo, although he's not dying and being reborn in each universe to relive death. And of course, he could make yourself smarter, or make someone else smarter. You can take a copy of their information and give it to someone else, or you can just give them everything and have them go insane, causing a complete mental shutdown. And now on to the main character of Part 3. Jotaro, being one of the strongest JoJos, and being the main character of Part 3, I feel like should get the most overpowered Requiem stand. What did Jotaro need in this moment? To stop Dio from killing off the remaining Crusaders. So I thought Star Platinum Requiem would have complete control of time. He can stop time for as long as he wants. He can move as fast as he wants. He can accelerate or decelerate time. He can move through time. He can erase time. Basically every time-related ability you've seen throughout all of JoJo, he now has, multiplied by infinity. Jotaro would then travel all the way back in time to Part 1, and he would finish off Dio once and for all, ending the Joestar curse at its start. And then because of this, I guess the only things that they'd have to worry about would be the Pillarmen and Kira, but Dio wouldn't keep coming back and Pucci wouldn't be a threat. But maybe that's a bad thing, because Dio reawakening and then awakening his stands, as well as awakening Holly, Jotaro, and Joseph's stands, all of that wouldn't happen. And then it gets really confusing telling how the story would go, so I don't know, maybe he goes back in time to when Dio came out of the coffin when he was pulled up from the ocean, and then he just kills him there. And if you think this is too overpowered or lazy writing, go fuck yourself. But the writing's so lazy. Yeah, no wonder it wasn't in the fucking show. Araki's a good writer. And if you really don't want it to be that overpowered, then I don't know, maybe you could stop time for like an hour or something. But I like the first idea more. There's still one more Crusader I have left to talk about. I fucking love Iggy. What did Iggy need? He needed to stop Vanilla Ice and save Polnareff. Vanilla Ice is a vampire, so you can only be killed by sunlight. Sand can be made into glass. Wait a minute, I have an idea. The Fool Requiem, also known as the Dumbass, now with this new ability, Iggy is able to turn the sand into mirrors, reflecting and absorbing sunlight. And not only can he harness the power of the sun, but he can turn every single molecule of sand into glass, or turn specific ones into glass. So he could have the Fool covered in glass shards. And if he's fighting outside, he can absorb more and more of the sun's energy. Not only is this good against vampires, it's also a fucking heat ray, so you could just burn people. And even if he for some reason got Requiem earlier, like against Pet Shop, he would need the sun's power through his sand-made mirrors to melt all of Horus's ice. I think that's what the stand's name was. And every single piece of glass can be imbued with sun energy. I just realized I'm basically giving him the sun, but if it was actually like good, and then I don't know, maybe we could get like an emotional scene where it's like, Iggy, you're burning him alive. It's almost like Avdol's here fighting with us. Awesome. And then they save the day. And you know how Iggy can make sand clones? What if at the last second, right before a sand clone gets punched, it turns to glass? And since it's imbued with solar energy, it explodes on whoever just destroyed the clone. I couldn't really think of anything else. One idea I had was the Sands of Time, where Iggy can manipulate time using his sand, but then he'd have a very similar ability to Jotaro, but now his ability is somewhat similar to Avdol's in that it's like heat-based. So just for fun, what if instead he has the Sands of Time, or you know what if he can use both? Screw it. and he's able to make a sand clone of someone based on a certain point in time. And he can even repeat past events, reenacting it with his sand. Or he could potentially see into the future by using the sand to predict what will happen. Or maybe less of predict, but it'll straight up show him. And what if he can make a sand clone of someone based on a previous event? And then he can turn them back into their previous self. And so he turns Vanilla Ice back to how he was before he became a vampire, and him and Polnareff kill him like he's a regular guy. So he's either being burned alive, or he's being turned back into a regular guy, and then they kill him. But that's about all the ideas that I had for giving every Stardust Crusader Requiem. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, consider subscribing to my Patreon, or I also have a channel membership now in case you want to do that instead. And I hope you all have a good day.